The desert winds carried a quiet whisper of destiny as Abraham and Sarah journeyed south into an unknown land. Shadows lengthened across the sand, and their footprints faded quickly, almost as though the earth wanted no record of their arrival. But why were they here? Was this part of God's plan, or was it simply another test of Abraham's faith? The land they entered was Gerar, ruled by a king named Abimelech. Unbeknownst to the king, his encounter with these strangers would unravel mysteries, test hearts, and draw divine intervention in ways no one could imagine. As Abraham and Sarah stood before the gates of Gerar, a seed of fear rooted itself in Abraham's heart. This was a foreign place, and Abraham feared its king might kill him to take Sarah, for she was still strikingly beautiful even in her old age. So, Abraham spoke a half-truth. "Tell them you are my sister," he said to Sarah, hoping this lie would protect them. The gates of Gerar opened, and the strangers entered, their story untold but their fate already written in the heavens. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, "She is my sister." And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. Genesis 20 verse 2. Word of Sarah's beauty spread quickly in Gerar. It reached the ears of King Abimelech, who wasted no time summoning her to his palace. He took Sarah into his house, intending to make her his wife. But that night, as the king slept, the divine moved to intervene. In a dream as vivid as the morning sun, God appeared to Abimelech and said, "You are a dead man because of the woman you have taken, for she is a man's wife." Abimelech awoke with a start, his heart pounding like a war drum. Fear gripped him. How had he wronged God without even knowing it? But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, "Behold, you are a dead man, for the woman you have taken, for she is a man's wife." Genesis 20 verse 3. At dawn, Abimelech wasted no time. He summoned Abraham, anger and confusion flashing in his eyes. "What have you done to us?" Abimelech demanded. "Why did you say, 'She is my sister,' and bring this guilt upon my house?" Abraham, humbled and ashamed, explained. "I thought there was no fear of God in this place, and they would kill me for my wife. Besides, she is my sister, the daughter of my father, though not my mother, and she became my wife." Abimelech's anger softened. His fear of God outweighed his frustration with Abraham. He turned to his servants and commanded, "Restore Sarah to Abraham. And as a sign of my innocence, I will give him sheep, cattle, and silver." The air was heavy with lessons of trust, fear, and the overwhelming grace of God. Bible verse: Then Abimelech took sheep, oxen, and male and female servants, and gave them to Abraham, and he restored Sarah his wife to him. Genesis 20 verse 14. Despite the misunderstanding, Abimelech had shown Abraham and Sarah grace. Yet God's hand still lingered upon the king's household, for the women of Gerar could no longer bear children, a divine sign of displeasure. Recognizing his need for reconciliation, Abimelech turned to Abraham. "Pray for us, that God may lift this curse." Abraham, moved by humility in God's mercy, prayed earnestly for Abimelech and his people. And God listened. The wombs of Gerar were opened once more, and life flowed back into the land. Bible verse: So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech, and his wife, and his maidservants, and they bare children. Genesis 20 verse 17. The events of Gerar were a test of character and trust for both Abraham and Abimelech. Abraham learned that God's protection requires no deception, while Abimelech discovered the power of God's intervention and the importance of integrity. This story, wrapped in mystery and divine mercy, reminds us that God works even through human flaws, bringing about His will and grace to those who seek Him. Final reflections. For the Lord is righteous, He loves righteousness, the upright will see His face. Psalm 11 verse 7.